Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another video. And today's video, based off the title and based off the thumbnail that you see, yes, this is going to be a video talking about how I won my very first game of Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch. But obviously, there's a catch. As you can tell by the gameplay in the background, this is Fortnite from like Season 7, I believe. And the reason why I'm using this is because my freaking Elgato did not get the gameplay. And I am so salty about it. In fact, I'm actually like even more mad because it wasn't even necessarily the Elgato, it was just my stupid mistake. So like, I'm gonna try to make this video as positive as possible. I don't want to necessarily make all my videos negative because I hate complaining. So I'm gonna try to make this as, like I said, as positive as possible and paint the scene for you. So I worked earlier this morning. I got off of work at 5, and I decided to hop on Xbox at around 7 o'clock. Now, by the time I got on my Xbox, I was trying to coordinate, Thursday's stream, which happened tonight with Joseph and all the guys, and I was able to get Joseph and Tennessee on for the stream. Now, my Xbox decided to do this weird thing today where, and I don't necessarily know if it's the update, because there has been an update for the console recently and the UI has changed, and ever since I loaded up my Xbox today, my Xbox is messed up. Like, not like one particular game. My whole Xbox is screwed up. Every game I load up is buggy as hell. Games, like, won't load in characters. Sometimes they black screen. I get kicked for activity because they won't load. Sometimes they won't even load at all. It's bad. Like, my Xbox is borderline broken, and I'm worried that the console might be shot. I wouldn't make this exaggeration if I didn't believe so. I can get into lobbies of games. Some games load up. To even load up Fortnite on my Xbox, to even try to get the update to go through, I had to uninstall the game, which I've only ever had to do to Overwatch, and that was when that game was messed up really, really bad. But, yeah, so my Xbox doesn't like me today. I'm really hoping that my Xbox is okay, because it's bad. It was bad today. It literally was borderline fried. It's not overheated. There's no red ring of death like the 360. I'm really worried about it. I guess the 360 Fridays thing might be more than 360 Fridays. It might be 360 every days, because that's probably where I'll migrate to, because that's where all my games are. Either that or I'd be a Switch YouTuber or a PC YouTuber for like 6 months, because there'd be no point in buying an Xbox One of the next Xbox coming out, because I can't afford just to buy an Xbox for 6 months. I just can't do that. So I'm trying to make this last as long as possible. But anyways, so the one thing that sucked is that I had that happen. Then I ended up wanting to do a stream, and after finally deciding what I wanted to do, I was like, you know what, I need to get my weeklies done for Fortnite. I want to do my stream, and I want to play with my friends. The best way I can do this is that if I cross-played streaming Fortnite while I was on my Switch. So I live streamed from my Switch to play Fortnite and get the challenges done with my buddies. And when I did that, it was fine. It was a little bit shoddy because it was the Switch, but it was fine. I got it taken care of, and I decided to stop the stream, and then I was like, you know what, guys, let's just continue playing. Let's just keep trying to have fun. And now this is where I want to get into the meat and potatoes of the video. Unfortunately, due to the fact that I mishandled the file, I don't have the gameplay. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to describe the gameplay in story form. And if you truly don't believe me, I will even show a photo for you, because it's the only thing I got. It's blurry as hell, and it's not necessarily the best quality, I know, but this is just from my Snapchat story of me taking a screenshot of basically my win, and you can tell by the button layout and where they're placed that that's obviously Switch controls. So yeah, I won the game on the Switch, and I wanted to paint out the scene in story form for you guys. I know this is a very weird way to do this, but I can't think of anything else, and I'm trying to adapt on the fly, and I'm trying not to be toxic, so please bear with me. But anyways, so basically, we end up getting into a game. We're playing trios in the form of squads. So we're actually in squads. We're playing just the three of us. In this case, it's me, Joseph, and Tennessee, who you guys haven't seen in a fat minute. That's one of the reasons why I'm especially salty the video's gone, because I wish I could record what he said, because he said some funny shit tonight. Anyways, not trying to be a downer. Let me just get right back on topic. So we're playing together, and Tennessee doesn't know what's going on. So me and Joseph kind of have to walk him through it, because me and Joseph are the only ones that really know what's going on. But we play and we go to the rig area. The rig area is one of the areas where you can get the key card and then also the special weapons. And in this case, this special weapon at this location is the Mythic Boom Bow. So we end up getting that. We open the vault, we get everything taken care of, and we're getting a mixture of people on Switch and on Xbox and on PlayStation, because that's where we're all playing on, which is kind of funny. I played on the Switch, Tennessee played on the PlayStation, and Joseph played on the Xbox. So we're getting a mixture of all those types of games, like those game players in the lobby. So you run into some Switch guys that were terrible. You run into some Xbox guys that were terrible. You run into some PlayStation guys that were terrible, and some vice versa. You could tell based off the way that they were building that some were better than others, and you can also just tell some people were just on certain consoles. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever tried to play Fortnite on a Nintendo Switch, but even the Pro controller doesn't feel as fluid as an Xbox controller because the buttons are switched. Like, for example, if you look at an Xbox controller, X is on the left, Y is on the top, B is on the right, A is on the bottom. If you go to a Switch controller, it's actually flipped, or it's different. It's actually X on the top, Y on the left, B on the bottom, and A on the right. So the buttons are switched every other two, and that makes it very hard to memorize. And plus also there's weird things like building, like a building you do with bumpers and triggers. It's really confusing, and that's just playing on the Pro controller. The Pro controller, the actual like Xbox like controller, it's even worse playing on the Joy-Cons or the tablet version, but we're not going to get into that. So playing on Switch was terrible if you don't know what you're doing, but I've been trying to adapt my setup. That's why I hooked up the Switch controller, the Pro controller, and that's why I also had a headset plugged in. So even if I got the gameplay anyways, you wouldn't even have the original audio, which I guess doesn't really matter. I guess it defeats the purpose. But we're playing, and we get the boom bow, we get the vault open. Me and Tennessee and Joseph are migrating up to the northern part, and we're getting to the Weeping Woods section of the area. So far, we've got a mixture of kills. I think we ended up fighting one squad at the time, and then we didn't find anybody else the rest of the game because nobody was just to be found. We couldn't find anybody at all, even though we were actively looking. And the one squad we did face at the beginning were okay. They were average at best, but the real showdown happened at the end of the match. So we're in Weeping Woods, and we're migrating towards the upper left diagonal section of the woods. We're all still alive. We all have decent weapons. I believe I had a purple scar, purple scar, a gray pump, a blue SMG, the boom bow, and then some mini shields. And then I think like Joseph or Tennessee, one of them had a rocket launcher that I gave them, and some other basic weapons. They all had like grays and blues, and then they had like that one miscellaneous gun. And we're getting to the point where the teams are killing off each other. We're getting lucky with the fights. We're not necessarily getting third party. We're actually engaging the third party. And it gets to the point where, since there's three of us, we're holding off a little bit because obviously we know the matches would be 4-on-1 or 4-on-3 otherwise. And what we do is we intentionally wait. We intervene with fights. Yes, we're being third-party dickheads, but it doesn't even work out that way for the most part because every time we would try to third-party, people just run away. It gets to the point where it's like the last couple people. It gets to the point where we intersect with one squad, we like knock one guy, and then the rest would leave, and then we try it again, and the same thing would rinse and repeat. So it gets to the point where we're like killing like one guy per squad at a time. So there's like really uneven, weird teams, and it gets to the point where at the end of the match, it's just us, another team of a trio, and that's it. So it's basically, okay, it's a fair fight now. It's a 3-on-3. Let's do this. And we end up getting to this log cabin. We end up building on the log cabin because I don't know if you guys know this, but if you have a pre-existing build and you build on top of that, it's much harder to shoot down. So me and my friends do that a lot. We'd look for pre-existing builds like a log cabin. So there's a lot of those in the woods. So we end up building like this old Port-a-Fort looking wooden colony area. Like it's like a misshapen Port-a-Fort if you remember what that looked like, but it was made out of wood. It was connected to a build. It was a little bit confusing, but you kind of get what I mean. And we're sitting in this, and the team is underneath of us, and the zone's starting to get small like it was in the live stream video when I did with the first match of Joseph and duos, where the zone's getting so small to the point where we think we're going to have to do a heal off. And it's getting to the point where, like, okay, well, we don't have enough meds to do a heal off. There's 3-on-3. Tennessee's the only one with healables, and he has one med kit. And I don't necessarily know if we're going to get that lucky again, so I'm like, okay, guys, we should fight at this point. We should fight. We shouldn't blow this off. Let's do this. So we're looking for people, and I'm the first one to try to initiate a fight. I end up jumping down, and it's kind of funny because, like, I'm actually not that bad on the Switch when I actually like think about it because the controls are kind of the same for Fortnite, which is good. Like, it's just you gotta remember the button layout is new. So like I'm in a build fight, and I end up getting this one guy in a corner, and I think I accidentally suicide because I don't know if the mythic boom bow does splash damage like the original boom bow, but I shot. And I think what happened is that I either downed myself or I got so close to the point where like I shot the guy and the splash damage from his body killed me rather than me just shooting the ground upright. I believe something killed me that was my own accident, so that was my fault. So I go down, but I'm still alive. And then the guy that was trying to BM me but failed got stuck in the storm. So now it's Tennessee, Joseph, and two of the other guys. It's a 2-on-2 fight. Both are a part of the same teams. And then it gets to the point where Tennessee and Joseph are fighting, and I see an opening where Tennessee can revive me. So Joseph's defending everybody while Tennessee tries to revive me. And I'm in this 1x1 that's like a ramp, a floor, and a wall. And it's attached to this one random corner with a back wall added to it. And Joseph's fighting the other two while Tennessee's trying to revive me. It gets to the point where if you imagine it like a line from left to right, it's Joseph, bad guy, me down on the floor, and then Tennessee trying to revive me if you had it as a straight line left to right. And as he's trying to revive me, Tennessee gets rushed by one of the two guys. They edit a wall and they're about to try to shoot him. And what happens is that since Joseph is behind the two guys, Joseph has a shotgun, and Joseph goes pop pop, shoots them both. Tennessee is in the front and realizes this. He just drops picking me up and starts shooting the guy. Now the enemies are sandwiched. So now what you're probably thinking is being like, okay, so what happened here? See, it's kind of funny. I actually had to have Joseph and Tennessee explain and elaborate to me because when I'm down, I can only look at the floor unless I'm able to like turn my body around, and I didn't know what the hell was going on because I was busy giving callouts in my own head. I was envisioning what they were seeing, so I wasn't paying attention to my surroundings, nonetheless looking at them. So I can't exactly see what's happening. So I'm panicking in my head, and I'm thinking to myself just like, okay, what's the proper call that I can do to get this win? Because I honestly wasn't expecting it to win. I was just mostly just doing it for the memes. But basically what happens is that I'm looking at the ground, I hear pop pop, one more pop, I hear like a spray sound, and then the game just stops for a second. I'm just like, okay, who won? And I realized we actually won. Me, Tennessee, and Joseph all won the whole entire match. We stuck it to the very end. I mean, I downed once at the end. And, like, we all downed, I think, a couple times. But we all made it through and survived to the very, very end, and we actually won the whole entire match. Basically, what happened was that when I asked Tennessee and I asked Joseph what happened, because they were the ones that saw the main perspective of the whole entire match and what even happened in the first place, is that Joseph shot a guy with a shotgun in the back, and then he tried to shoot the other guy in the back. I don't know if he actually connected that shot. I didn't ask him. But the second shot, I don't know if he actually hit. Tennessee's using a shotgun as well, and then he switches to his SCAR, or his assault rifle. I believe he also has a SCAR, like a suppressed SCAR. And they're basically to the point where, like, the enemies are screwed, essentially, because whatever HP they were left on, it didn't even matter anyways, because they were in between Joseph, who had a shotgun, Tennessee, that also had a shotgun, but I think he was using an assault rifle towards the second half of the fight. Like, he shot one shotgun, and then he switched to his assault rifle to spray. But the enemies are literally sandwiched, and since they're in an area with a ramp and a wall and a floor, and they're in between Joseph and Tennessee, who are on the edges where you would build the wall in the first place, they can't build a wall in between them. They can only build a wall which would enclose them further into the bullets. So they're essentially screwed unless they break the walls, which they didn't. They didn't break it in time, so that's why they in turn ended up dying, and that's why we ended up winning the match. And the only thing I have to show for is that stupid screenshot. I wish I got the match. Basically what happened was that I always have flashback recording on for the said reason, like to prevent me from losing gameplays. But basically, when me and Joseph and Tennessee were visiting after the game, because I was going to originally get off and then I wanted to chat with them because I haven't chatted with Tennessee, especially in a while. And I was just like, okay, you know, I was going to turn in for the night, but I was like, where's the replay system? Because what happened was that I needed the replay to even get the gameplay in the first place as my last second resort, because when I was trying to get in flashback, I thought that I already had exported the file, but the file was not recorded yet in flashback. And then when I went into flashback, I didn't record far back enough. I pulled the little time bar back only to where we were in the lobby. Then I hit record, so everything before that got disregarded, so I lost the gameplay. And then with the stress of trying to update Fortnite, let alone get my Xbox to work, I tried to go into the replay system on there, and it wasn't loading at a reasonable time. So I was like, okay, I'll update my PC version of Fortnite, because for some reason the Switch doesn't have replay. I don't know why it doesn't, but it didn't have replay. So I was like, okay, I'll try to record it either on my Xbox in replay or on my PC in replay. And I get my PC finally to update, and my replays, they basically expire. And I'm like, okay. Now, the thing is, like, I knew this, like, the replays, like, any old replays that you have before, any gameplay you have before that patch, basically what happens is that they get disregarded because it's technically an old file. Now, I thought that when I was prompted to delete any old files, I thought I was going to be like, okay, delete things from like a week ago or whatever. Apparently, the gameplay I got from the Switch today counted as an old file. I don't know if there was an update, or if there was anything included with said current update that I was already installing. So basically, the update I guess I was installing was technically putting the Switch game I had, which was before midnight, considered to be an old file, or the last patch, which was the worst timing possible, and I deleted it not thinking of it. I didn't know it would be included in it. I just assumed that it would only delete old files, not the new old, if that makes any sense. And so that's why I ended up losing that file. And then I tried to load it up on the Xbox, see if maybe the Xbox, had it for whatever reason. It didn't, so it was just gone. And unfortunately, that's just what she wrote. So I lost the gameplay. The only way that I have any proof is that if I either end up getting lucky and Joseph or Tennessee or something recorded some Xbox clips and I can record those, or Joseph just straight up uploads it from his perspective. But the only thing I got is that little screenshot, so other than that, you have to take my word for it. This is why I always try to use flashbacks so I don't miss things like this. This is also how I ended up missing getting my nukes live in Modern Warfare 2 when I played that like years ago. And that's the one thing I also wish I had flashback on for. But at the end of the day, I mean, it really doesn't matter. I mean, people will nitpick everything. So even if I did have proof, people could be like, oh, you didn't do this, you should have done that, yada, yada, yada. So it doesn't really matter. But I want to clarify what happened, just so you guys know. And I basically wanted to tell this like in story form, just for funsies. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Different video than usual, I know, but I didn't want to make this a rant. I just wanted to make this kind of more like a fun, upbeat video. So yeah, at the end of the day, that's the video. And just once again, I hope you guys understand. I'm trying to keep a balance. I'm trying to be more yin and not so much any more yang like I used to be in the last couple months recently, because I was a little bit bitter. I'll admit that. Because that's just, I had life, kind of beating me down a little bit, but I'm kicking back up. We all have our highs and lows. But at the end of the day, that's just life. And right now on the high, I'm trying to keep it that way. So thank you for bearing with me. I truly appreciate it. Thank you a lot for the support on the channel in general. I really appreciate the likes, the subscriber count going up, the comments, everything. So please keep the momentum up and keep doing so. And yeah, guys, I hope you end up having a wonderful day. I hope you guys ended up enjoying the video nonetheless. And like I said, if you did, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But anyways, life goes on. Carry on, my wayward sons, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Thank you for watching, and peace out.